and welcome into another edition of the R&R Sports Report. I'm your host, Randy Isbell. With me, as always, Robert Hagan. Robert, how's it going?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
Mariners are leading in the AL West.
Never mind. That was a great show. Have a good time, guys. I'm out.
You know, I talked about that earlier today. I mean, who would have figured the Mariners on 7-3 over the last 10?
It's April.
I know it's early.
That's when the Mariners
we knocked off the Dodgers yesterday. Yeah, we lost today. We'll talk about that here in a little bit, but
I knew I did not want to do this show today. I knew, looking at the records and stuff, that I did not want to be here today. And you're already proving me right.
It's baseball time, man. It's go time. It is so.
It's Mariners thinking they have a shot time, and then in May they remember that they're not that good.
Well, you know, it was a good matchup today. Marco did good. He gives up one run and loses.
We will get into all of that. We got lots of LC sports still to talk about. Season starting to wrap up. We got obviously some high school stuff. We're actually going to talk soccer.
What?
On this show. I mean, it got weird when we were talking pro wrestling and Aussie rules, but it's weird for us to talk soccer. But we got that to talk about. Of course, you're speaking of Aussie rules, your team was able to win. My team played 3 quarters again.
We're going to have to ask our guest if he follows any sports like that.
We will get into that. Let's get right to it. Our guest to start the show today, another local boy. We like to get the locals in here. From the baseball team, Mr. Riley Way. Riley, how is it going today?
It's going pretty good.
How about I ask you that and then turn your microphone on?
It's going pretty good.
Lewis and Bengal in the house. Are you excited to have another great full year in the play? I mean, it's got to be tough not getting the full year last year. You've had an unbelievable season to start the year off. Let's talk a little bit about how your year has started.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome that we're able to have the full season this year. I mean, with the setback last year, it's hard on the whole team and the coaching staff. So being able to get back to it this year and being able to play all those games, it's really nice. And the energy is there. You can tell that we're all hungry and ready to eat. So that atmosphere that we have together right now is pretty good.
Yeah, and it's obviously showing on the field. You guys' record has been phenomenal. And your play, particularly, we were looking at the stats today, batting .404 on the year, which then you look at the rest of the years, your highest average was actually your freshman year, .287. So what has changed at the plate for you this year?
I'm not too much, really. Just I'd say the most thing is just confidence and being comfortable in the box more consistently. I think that helps a lot. This year I really just came to it mentally and settled down in the box and became a more relaxed hitter. And so I think making that adjustment has really improved over the past couple of years.
I think the big thing that I'm seeing is you're pretty much one of the leaders on this ball club now. You know, they do have you listed as a redshirt junior, but I mean, You've played all 4 years you've been here.
Yeah, I have, and it's been great all 4 years. I mean, this program being here it's a privilege. So I've enjoyed it a lot.
So obviously we just started this radio show, so we weren't able to ask you in your freshman year, but how was that for you and AJ Davis from the Clarkson side, both being local boys, coming into the local college team that gets, all of the attention come May for the World Series, and we all grew up, expecting to watch the NAIA World Series here, and now you get to play for the local team, and both of you went right into the starting lineup, both playing second and short. How has that been for you?
I feel like ever since then, freshman year, having that chemistry. I mean, we played a summer before together and played up the middle during that summer. So I think we built it going into freshman year and knew that we really had a shot to provide for this program. And I think ever since then, that chemistry has just built up and been really great for us up the middle. So,
well, if you don't know, and maybe our listeners don't know this, like you said, you got the opportunity to play with AJ for the Twins.
Yeah.
Make it to the final game back east. Talk about that trip and what that did for you coming out of high school, getting you ready for college ball.
I think that was perfect for us just because we both knew we were coming to the LC and middle infielders. So having to have all those reps during that summer was great. And being able to go to regionals and further on to the World Series was really good for us, I think.
looking back so far on this season, what do you think? Obviously, you said confidence, but other than confidence, what's been your biggest growth in your play this year? What have you been happy about the most about your improvement?
I would say just being more aggressive.
Yeah.
I'd say in the box, on the field, on the bases, like everything. I'm just more aggressive this year and trusting my abilities of what I can do and knowing that I'm just playing one step at a time, playing slow, and I think that adjustment has helped a lot.
What position do you like playing better, second or short?
I like short better.
Yeah.
So second's fun too. I still like second.
Yeah.
Yeah, like double plays are nice at second.
So explain a little bit, I've looked over the last few years. You've been all over the batting order also, so it kind of bounces off that same question that Randy just had. Where do you like to be? Do you like to be that table setter? Do you like to be the late guy or middle guy where you want to bat? Where do you feel comfortable, in this lineup that we're going into the future with the 2021 team getting ready to go into playoff time?
Right. Right now, I like leadoff. I like that spot, but you only lead off maybe 1 or 2 times a game. After every other inning, it switches. So I don't know. I could hit wherever, but leadoff right now is comfortable. I like it a lot. So rolling with that.
I love the speed. You've had a ton of speed even when you were in high school. Watching you play for the Bengals, that was one thing I thought you brought to the table. How do you keep yourself motivated, and what kind of workouts do you do besides batting practice and infield stuff? What do you do on your own time to keep active and work on your game?
I would just say the weight room in the mornings, and then that's pretty much it. I've always kind of had just like a quick twitch, so being able to improve on that in the weight room with Ray Padrina, former Lcsc baseball players, he puts a lot of work on us and does right with mobility and quick twitch muscles and stuff like that. So like those speed workouts are helping me stay quick.
Do you have the green light when you're on the base, or is coach just sending you whenever he wants?
Most of the time I have the green light, but just depending on like the situation of the game, of course, that could change. But.
Well, who do you like to emulate your game from? Is there somebody that is really, whether it's a professional or a college player that you watched, or even a player that you've played with over the last few years? Is there somebody that you like to try to mold your game after?
Not necessarily mold my game. I pick up things from like Francisco Lindor, like just things that he does. I don't really try to be necessarily like him. I try to be my own player just because I prefer to, like, that's when I'm better, is my own process. But yeah, I definitely take tips from those pro guys like Lindor, for example, just the way he fields and stuff like that. So.
Right. And we talk about that also in our bowling game. I mean, both of us huge bowlers. We talk about that. We take little snippets from each person that we see, whether it's even a local bowler or even some of the others, taking that little bit of a game for each of them makes yourself better. So, yeah.
So you guys are at home in a 4-game set against College of Idaho this weekend. Final homestand of the regular season. How important is it to finish strong getting into the postseason?
I think it's really important for us, especially coming off a loss, having this sweep this next weekend, coming out victorious is going to be really important for us to go into the conference tournament in a couple weeks.
Now you guys played College of Idaho middle of about a month ago, and just especially that first game where you guys went 21-2. My first question is, why didn't that game end in 7 innings? Because you guys were up so much. But 2, is it tough to then keep that pressure on here this week, knowing that you guys were able to roll them so easily the last time?
To your first question, I don't know if it might have been a time where we never actually had 10 runs past like a certain inning. I think we might have scored at the end of the game maybe. But yeah, there should have been 10-run rule. The second question, yeah, I would just say, wait, what is it?
It just because you guys were able to defeat them so easily. How is it to get yourself mentally prepared to play them again, to make sure that you don't?
I mean, I think
off the gas?
We're just playing at our own. Mm-hmm. We play our own game, so we don't overlook or oversee an opponent. We don't play like that, so we're always gonna play at that high level. But I don't think there's any pressure on the number system, so I think we're just gonna play at our level and then see what happens from there.
All right, we look at what is your biggest things, what you plan on doing later in life? We see you're an exercise science major. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that. And what are you planning on doing after you graduate from Lcsc?
Yeah, exercise science major. I wanted to start off as a personal trainer, maybe do that as like for a short time, but eventually I've always wanted to have like a business on my own facility here, like a program for the youth that, or like a place to go where kind of like a baseball facility. So I kind of want to do that in the future if that's possible, but yeah.
I could see him doing something like that. All right, so we're gonna do a little bit of a few things, shot fire, just to get the listeners to get to know you a little bit better, and a few things, just quick, whatever first pops in your head. So favorite team, whether it's a baseball team, football team.
Seattle Seahawks.
All right. What are we gonna do?
It's not football season. So it's okay. It's not football season. Where do you see your team going in the draft? What position would you like? What you would like to see the Seahawks do the first round of the draft here next week?
Ooh, I'd say. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it too much, but.
You think they should trade Russell Wilson?
No.
No. Okay.
9 days away. So we might ask you again. Maybe we'll find out and ask you. 9 days away. Favorite sport movie?
Remember the Titans.
There we go. Football one. There we go. Favorite snack?
Candy. Very sweet too. Oh.
If you could only pick one.
That's tough. Sour Patch Kid watermelon.
There you go. I like Sour Patch Kids.
What's your favorite class?
Say health related.
Yeah. You have a favorite teacher here?
Nah, I like them all.
They're not listening. It's okay.
No particular favorites. They're all wonderful.
I forget the name we keep hearing. Everybody's got Diesner. That's right.
Yeah.
Everybody says something about Diesner. So, what's your biggest fear?
Snakes.
I can relate to that. Snakes and height.
I don't do snakes too well. Not a bit.
Were you worried about that at all playing in Arizona this?
No, I didn't think about it down there, but.
So we're going to throw out a couple of names, a couple of players. Tell us who and what you think about. And first, we'll start with Dylan. Dylan Blue.
Dylan Blue's great baseball player. I mean, great teammate. I mean, that guy can really play the game of baseball. And I picked up some things from Blue too, because he's such a different player than someone I've never played with. Actually, like just the way he fields is different, and I pick up stuff that he does all the time. And with his swing too, he's a great player.
Okay. How about your middle infielder with you, AJ Davis?
Yeah, that's my boy right there. But yeah, that's pretty much me and him have like probably the best chemistry on the team. We're always doing stuff together. We live together, so we have that bond as well. But yeah, we always encouraging each other, improving together as a middle infielders. So like just that chemistry right there.
How about Brock Efon?
Brock Efon, that's a big bat right there. That guy can swing a baseball bat. Is pretty much what I got for him. Big fish. So yeah, that guy, most intimidating player I face as an infielder in the box. So when he's up the bat, it's coming hard. It's not coming soft. So.
I have seen that guy miss a baseball and still hit it out of the park.
Oh yeah, like he'll hit off the end of the bat and still get it out. So that's.
There's something about, if I remember, he's got pretty big forearms too, and he can crush the ball. Doesn't matter what he's got. All right, a name that we haven't given you. Who should we watch for on the team? Maybe one of those quiet leader, quiet bat.
Nagel that guy can swing a bat really well, man. He has a good swing, pieces balls up. Watching him hit is really impressive. So I'd stay on him, check him out, because that guy he's doing really well right now.
All right, how about Coach? How about Jake Taylor? How do you feel about him?
Great guy. I love Coach Taylor. He's done so much for this team this year, and I think ever since starting from the fall up, coming off that COVID year, he's done a lot to help us improve as a team and kept us on track. So, yeah, doing a great job.
All right, and we've got to do the word association. We do this with everybody. You got to explain yourself. What would you say about Riley Way?
Explain myself?
Yeah. If you could say one word about yourself.
One word. I would say relentless.
It's a good trait to have on a baseball field, that's for sure.
All right. So what can we look forward to going in after this last home series, getting ready for playoffs? What things can we look forward for this Warriors Ball Club?
I think you'll just see us coming into these next few games, coming in with a high pace, high level, and taking care of the series, and then getting ready for that conference tournament, staying ready for any type of competition we need, going hard on the practice field. And yeah, we'll be going hard from here until the end of May. So
yeah, again, Lcsc has a 4-game set against the College of Idaho starting Friday at 6 p.m. here at Harris Field. Saturday, you can check them out noon, and then 3 p.m.-ish whenever the first game ends is usually 30 minutes until game 2. And then Sunday, they will play at 11 a.m. Again, that's your last chance to see regular season baseball here at Lcsc. They have wrapped up the CCC regular season, so the conference championships will be here. And then we have the World Series in, like a month.
Yeah.
And
you're going to be busy.
I'll be busy. I'll be there Saturday doing the PA announcements. I'll make sure to mess up Riley's name because there's always at least one that I mess up. Hey, I always tell the story on the show. I messed up Rocky Fawn's name the first time he hit a home run. So that's just the way it works. I'll just mess up your name and you can hit a home run for us on Saturday.
All right.
But Riley, thank you so much for taking the time out and hanging out with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
That is Riley Way, the former Lewis and Bengal and your current LCSC baseball player, Riley Way. So glad to have him in studio and talking about his ball club. Yeah, let's real quick. Let's throw out a quick Pathfinder new LCSC students. Did you know that there's an organization on campus that wants to pay you for your writing? Well, there is. Pathfinder newspaper is always looking for talented students and writers. If you want to join the team, make sure you stop by Sub 201. And guess who's back? He couldn't get enough of the show. He wants his sunglasses now.
Oh, no. No, you lose them. There's no lost and found here at the radio station. All right, let's move on to the pro level of baseball. And let's
talk Mariners. Yes, let's talk Mariners. No,
we're not talking Mariners yet. Let's talk Carlos Rodon.
Oh, that is crazy.
He pitched today, pitched pretty well against the Indians, but that's not the story.
No, it's not the story.
It was his other time against the Indians where he throws a no-hitter, which is just ridiculous from what you've seen from Rodon. He had a lot of injury issues, a lot of control issues. Throughout his career, has been able to kind of piece things together this year and looked fantastic. He was throwing like 6 miles an hour faster in the 8th inning of this no-hitter than he was at all last year.
So do I throw out the name? And you and I talked about Chicago this year, and we each picked a different player to be that guy that's coming out of that lineup. Is La Russa that good with this ball club right now that he's got his club playing?
Well, I mean, that team is just really, really good.
Yeah.
And now you get the veteran leadership of La Russa. It couldn't really work out for them. I mean, obviously, who knows right now? We're, 3 weeks in?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, we have to look at standings now for doing this radio show, but I never care about standings until past Memorial Day. After Memorial Day, okay, now look at the standings. And we'll start to get a picture. But that team is stacked, in the lineup. Now you get Rodon trying to get things going. Giolito got completely crushed on Monday, but their pitching rotation is fantastic. How did you like his ability to brush off losing the perfect game by hitting a batter in the 9th inning? He's 2 outs away from a perfect game, and a slider gets away from him, and he hits him in the back foot, and just is able to laugh with the batter, Like, what, you couldn't move?
Mhm.
You couldn't move that foot for me, please?
Yeah.
And brush it off, get the next two batters. Just the calm, cool, and collected version of Rodon is who I like right now.
Yeah, he looked unbelievable. I was watching a little bit of the game, but then I had to leave the house. And so as I was leaving the house, I get the message from you. He's 8 through. He's good. And then all of a sudden it's
I didn't jinx it.
yeah, no, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
That's what I'm saying. He still got the no-hitter. It's great.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I sent it to you after he blew the perfect game.
Right.
I was actually recording another podcast and watching it on a side monitor when it happened.
But what's odd is you and I talked about it last week about how many perfect games and no hitters normally happen in the first part of the season, and then everybody. How odd! We talked about it last week on the show, and then this turns around.
It comes
and
in
happens.
bunches. We were talking about it for the Musgrove no-hitter for
Mhm.
the Padres. They come in bunches here. I wouldn't be surprised if we come back next week
And there's
talking
one
about
more.
another one, especially with the way teams play right now. I was looking up stats because I wanted to bring some stuff up. Obviously, teams are changing the way they play because obviously the shift that defenses pull is making players adjust the way they bat. Unfortunately, they're not changing it the way I would like to see it, where they're now hitting it to all fields and beating the shift. Instead, they're not changing their game, and they're just trying to hit it over the shift.
Right.
And trying to hit more home runs. So you used to have players like Adam Dunn, who was a 3-result player. It was either a walk, a strikeout, or a home run. That's all you were ever going to get from Adam Dunn.
Right.
But now you're getting that from like 70% of the league. It's insane. I was looking this up. There have been, what did I say to you? 235 games played before today.
And yeah, I think that's what you said.
Because there's 470, obviously, divided by 2 because 2 teams are playing at the same time. But I'm looking at this sheet. How many strikeouts do you think have been made by those 30 teams in the 230-some games that have been played so far in the season?
And I said, when we were talking off air, I said, well, it's got to be right close to. I figured 1,000 at least.
Which
right
I laughed at you when you said.
Right, and you did. I figured right out 1,000, maybe 1,100 total.
Well, I'll give you a hint because to show you how far off you are. Because there have been 1,578 walks so far this season. So the numbers are higher than you think. Because again, each team has played. There's been 470 total games.
Right.
Where you count.
Right.
The number of strikeouts that have happened so far in the first 3 weeks of the season is 4,322.
That's crazy.
Teams are averaging more than a strikeout an inning.
Well, okay, so I just jumped over just to look at on MLB, and the Padres lead with 198. That's just crazy. That's 200 strikeouts in 18 games for them.
Yeah, the average is 144 per team. What's worse? What do you think the overall MLB batting average is right now?
Actually, I stand corrected. I was looking at the pitching one.
They've
They've thrown 200 strikeouts. The Texas Rangers right now, 180 strikeouts in 17 games. That's just nuts.
That's a lot. And then people want to know why or how to fix baseball and why fans are going away from the game, and they're worried about the speed of the game. Which, by the way, I'm a big New York Yankees fan. They are molasses this year. I don't know how many times they start at 4. It's now 6:30.
What inning are they in now?
They're in the 8th, but they started at 3:30. They're almost 3 hours into this game, and they're in the 8th inning. But they'll start at 4. It'll be 6:30. I've now finished dinner, and we're eating dinner, and it's the 6th inning.
Right.
See, it's gotten really, really bad.
And that's the thing, and maybe this is where I still and you and I talked about this when we were calling Clarkson Bantam games, and we were doing stuff, and how quick the 7-inning games were going, and that. I have always thought, as much as I love Hank Aaron, as much as I love watching people hit home runs and that kind of stuff, I would rather see teams play small ball.
Yes.
Move batters around. Why haven't these people started to figure out when they put the shift on? Is it too much pride for them to try to lay down a bunt to get on base when they've got the entire third baseline open?
Much it is. I hate the extra inning rule
with the
runner starting
with
at
the
second.
runner. Yeah, I don't like that either.
However, I love it for the fact that it's showing how bad the Yankees are managed.
Right.
And how badly managed a lot of these teams are, because there's a runner at second with nobody out. And I don't know how many times I've seen nobody score.
Right.
That's an automatic run.
It should be, yeah. It should be.
Hit it to the right side, get him to third, hit it into the outfield.
No.
You scored a run.
Exactly.
Teams can't do that. So I'm okay with that rule, just to try to get teams to fix their crap.
That's why I love playing softball as much as I did. And you grew up, you had two friends of ours that were your coaches, and I know they worked with you. They did the same thing with me. I played softball with both these guys, and that was the biggest thing they kept saying to my game, even playing softball. I was a right-handed bat, but I could still slap the ball down the right field line. I could wait long enough, slap the ball. And I did that in baseball. When I played with Coach Justin Jones, when we played games, Jim Holman was on that team and all that, growing up in Babe Ruth. You learned to hit opposite field, and you were so much better. I don't understand why these teams are not doing that, even on the professional level.
Right. So it brings me back to my question. What is the MLB average right now?
Batting average?
The batting average for all of Major League Baseball so far this season.
Well, now that you've said 4,000 strikeouts.
4,320.
Okay, 4,300 strikeouts. I think I'm going to have to drop, because I was really thinking the average had to be in like the 240s, 250s.
Hold on. Sorry. By the way, that is 700 more strikeouts than hits this year. By the way.
Which tells you what's wrong with this game. Swing and a miss, swing and a miss. Swing, home run. Swing, strikeout. Yeah.
So the league average right now.
I think I was going to say like 240. But I think that's got to be, if there's over 4,300 strikeouts, I'm going to say it has to be probably 20 points lower. I would say probably 220-ish.
It's not quite that low. It's 233.
Okay.
There's actually, and that's because of the Boston Red Sox, who are averaging 288 as a team, which is 20 points more than any other team in baseball. Your Seattle Mariners are only averaging 224. My Yankees are only averaging 210 as a team. That's almost a Mendoza line, which is usually thought of as you're a garbage hitter if you're under the Mendoza line. Yet there's a team. There are 4 teams worse than the Yankees, but there's a team.
Come on. The way that we're playing right now?
Just batting average-wise.
Okay.
There's only one team record-wise that are worse than my Yankees right now. But there's actually a team, as a team, that is averaging below the Mendoza line. That's insane to me.
And I don't think, and I pull it up, I don't think we even had them in our top in that division in the Central, did we?
No.
Yeah.
It's the Chicago Cubs, averaging 192 as a team. 3 true outcomes. Absolutely. Yeah, they're 100%. That is what's killing baseball. As much as it drives me nuts that the Yankees play 4 hours every single game, it is this. It gets really boring to just see strikeout, walk, strikeout. Okay, next inning. Oh, we got a home run.
Big fly. Yeah.
There we go. It's just.
I've always been that way. I'd rather see great defense. I'd rather see like Riley Way out there hustling his butt, making a diving play, throw the ball, and to try to watch some runner try to stretch it out.
That's insane.
That's where this game has changed. So now, where do you take that from? Where has that evolved from? Do we go back to the home run scandals? Is that where that's stuff?
A lot of these players grew up watching the home run era.
Yeah.
The steroid era in the 90s. And they went, the whole Sports Center thing, chicks stick the long ball. Come watch Sunday Night Baseball. Pitchers are hitting home runs. That's what they grew up watching, and now that's how they want to do it. And nobody has been able to solve it or fix it. But I mean, Eric is now hanging out in the chat. His team is fantastic about it. They are a great overall team. They do great fundamentals. That's why, even though their payroll is way down.
Well, I mean, you look at his team; they're still batting. They're batting 221, but I mean, even their numbers for strikeouts are second. They're second in strikeouts at 100.
Which is crazy to me. I'm just saying
totally
overall.
crazy,
So yeah, that number surprises me a lot. So maybe they're falling into that trap. Who knows? But yeah, it's only 3 weeks. We will see how that goes. Another issue plaguing the MLB to start the season is injuries. It's every day we're seeing another big name player go down. We just get Tatis back, even though I highly believe he should not have come back. He has been terrible since he came back.
I thought he should have stayed out at least another couple of weeks.
Yeah, their team is very good. Don't blow it by having him come back and playing at 70%. But now you have Acuna, who's not playing. The Braves are playing the Yankees in a 2-game set right now. Acuna not playing. He has an abdomen strain. Mookie Betts has a forearm injury. He might end up on the IL. Starling Marte hit the IL with the left rib fracture. Yelich is on the IL finally with back stiffness. He missed like 6 games before they finally put him on there. By the way, all 4 of those on the same fantasy team for me. It's been fantastic. I guess except for Acuna. But Betts, Marte, and Yelich I have on one team. It's just terrible. Bellinger ends up with a hairline fracture when they decided it was a bruise. So he's out for a bit. And Juan Soto actually went on today with a left shoulder strain. And there's names I didn't put on there. So that's another big issue for baseball. It's just they can't seem to stay healthy. But I want to go to something positive because I'm tired of talking negative. I feel like ever since Riley left, that's all I've done is get off my lawn. I want the baseball back from the 90s. I feel like I'm talking about basketball right now. It's like back in my day, they played differently.
Eric, you noticed that he rolled right over my Mariners, right? I'm just saying that.
Well, we're getting to it right now with your biggest. What is your biggest? We're about a tenth of the way through the season. A lot of teams have played at least about 16 games, if not more. Obviously, COVID has kind of messed up some schedules. But technically, we're a tenth of the way through the season already.
When you typed this earlier today, I have to tell you this, and it's so funny because of the people I work with at school. You reminded me exactly of a teacher that I work with, and he talks about the same thing. When we 18 days in, we're a tenth of the way through. And then he keeps track. He has a fraction board up on this one. And when you type, well, we're a tenth of the way through the season, and all I could think about was, hey, here we go, Mark Nicholas here. But yeah, I think the biggest things surprises, hands down, and I'm not trying to sound like a homer. Let me rephrase that. I really am trying to sound like a homer, but is actually the Mariners. Who would have figured the Mariners were at where they're at so far?
Don't they do this
in
every
the AL West?
Single April?
No.
I have seen so many memes of, it's April. This is the time where we feel like it is. And then May 1st is like, oh, never mind. Always. This is what they do.
I don't think they've played. I mean, they've had some decent seasons. I mean, a couple of years really stand out. The 2001 year, 95. We'll always talk about 95, but
tired of talking about 95.
I know.
95 should have been the year Don Mattingly finally won a World Series.
Well,
Randy Johnson.
Jack McDowell. We'll just leave it at that. But
absolutely.
But I think they've done really well. With as young as this ball club is, I think I was kind of shocked. And I don't know if I'm more shocked that the Stros are struggling as much as they are.
They've had COVID. They had a lot of COVID issues.
Right.
I mean, Altuve's still not back.
But they're 3-7 over their past 10. I mean, they lost again earlier, but I don't know if I'm more shocked at how the Mariners with the young crew is playing as well. My big thing, if we can keep this going, I think it's going to revolve around Mitch Haniger. Mitch has got to stay healthy. He was the only one that scored a run today against. I'm trying to remember who pitched. Reyes pitched today, who had 11 Ks in 7 innings pitched. I mean, great line for him. Only had 1 walk. So
I obviously I'm going to play devil's advocate to your Mariner hope. How much is this their record being that they played the Orioles 4 games, took 3 or 4 from the Orioles, who were terrible, and they took 2 or 3 from those Astros, who they played at the perfect time,
Right.
where they were having COVID
Yeah.
issues. And they played the White Sox, lose 2 of 3. They do win 2 of 3 against the Giants to start the year. Giants have been another surprise team so far. They're sticking in it so far.
So far, we're 1-1 against the Dodgers.
Yeah, 1-1 against the Dodgers. Both games were close. I'll give you that. But now you get the Red Sox, who are another surprise team. I'll get into them in a minute. You get a 4-game set starting on Thursday with the Red Sox, and then you go down to Houston for a 4-game set. They're going to have all their players back. Maybe not Altuve if he ended up with the COVID stuff. Everyone else came back today.
I think the big one is if we get Lewis back. I mean, he's not. Yeah, he's off the IL, so it'll be interesting to see how he plays. But I think that's the biggest thing is you said it. We're getting ready to play that red hot Boston Red Sox team, and I'm a little scared right there.
Obviously, we it's so early. Again, only 18 games in for Seattle, but the run differential is negative right now. Their expected win total, which is a weird, nerdy stat. Anyways,
we're not nerds or anything,
right? So it's basically what their record should actually be.
Right.
By the way they're playing is only 9-9. So we will see how that goes. My biggest surprise is Boston. They are just crushing teams. Their offense has been fantastic. Again, almost averaging 300 as a team when nobody can hit anymore. They've outscored their opponents by 28 runs. You know, they have a 2-game lead on the division where we thought it was Yankees and the Rays, maybe Toronto. When nobody put Boston anywhere near there. And I still won't. Again, I don't. If you're in first place here on April 20th, I don't care. If you're still in first place in a month, I'll start to care. But right now, it's just there's such a small sample size for all of this stuff. But you have to look at some of these surprising things. Obviously, the Dodgers aren't the Dodgers, and they're showing exactly that. 14-4 on the year. Almost 100 runs scored already by that team. But let's go on the opposite side. And obviously, the Yankees have been a completely mass disappointment. The one thing I was worried about coming into that year was the pitching depth. I wasn't worried about the bullpen, and I really thought the lineup was going to be fantastic. I was worried about everyone but Cole. Because, again, the 4 people in their starting rotation, not named Garrett Cole, had pitched like a combined 10 innings last year. And none of them have really gotten going. Tyon pitching right now had a good day today. But Kluber has kind of struggled a little bit. Herman is already back at the alternate site. So none of that's worked, but it's more been the offense. They've scored 55 runs in their 15 games.
That's not normal.
And it's just, again, it's not situational hitting for the Yankees right now. They're all swinging and missing. Like they're actually below the average for strikeouts, but they're not getting that hard contact that you normally expect from these guys. And it's been tough to see. I'm still not worried about it. But
so let me throw 2 names out at you and tell me why. Aaron Judge. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's playing well, 259 right now. But I think the bigger one for me is Giancarlo.
What a disaster he has been.
Right now, and
just what a disaster.
Right now, he's batting 170. He's got 12 RBIs, so he's producing RBIs right there. But he's got 20 Ks.
That's typical.
Again, we go back to that whole thing, and it's gone back to the, swing the bat, hit the ball, and hope it goes over the fence. There's no looks. I mean, Giancarlo's got 9 home runs, but you're batting $170.
He has 3 home runs.
Or 9 hits. 3 home runs.
Total.
Wrong column.
Actually, the ones I'm more worried about, Torres has really struggled. He's batting under 200. Frazier, who I was hoping would take that big step forward, finally getting a lot of playing time, has been terrible at the plate right now. Stanton is that kind of player that will drive you absolutely nuts as a fan. Because when he misses, he looks like he doesn't know how to swing a bat. He has that weird stance where he's super in his front foot. He's almost turned completely backwards to the pitcher. and just swings all arms. So when he misses, he's almost falling over and looks completely unbalanced and unorganized. But when he gets a hold of one, he crushes it 450 feet, and then you think he's great. So
if I had to pick a guy on the team other than those two big names there, the one that for me that kind of sticks out like a sore thumb is Odor.
Well, he's new.
He's got three hits out of 24.
He doesn't understand how to hit without his beard.
Right. He's three of 24. He's got 3 strikeouts, but he scored every time that he's been on base. So the 3 times he's got 3 runs. Yes, I understand he's with the ball club now, but it can't be a facial like that. But you look at those bats that we're used to seeing produce really well.
I'm not too worried about it yet.
DJ looks really good. I mean,
he actually is not playing DJ levels right now. He's even struggling compared to what we're used to for him.
Right.
Is there another team that you've looked at so far that's kind of surprised you in the wrong way?
In the wrong way, other than Houston, I'm still very.
I still give Houston a pass with the coach.
With all, yeah, maybe.
Mine. I mean, we've already talked about it. It's the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
You're batting under 200. We neither of us picked them to win the division.
No.
If we did the full rankings, I probably would have had them third. But it's just how bad the batting is.
Right.
The batting has been just so bad. They've scored less runs than the Yankees. They've only scored 51 runs.
And I'm not shocked about it, but I think the one that might stick out maybe is Colorado. We did have Colorado at the very bottom.
Mm-hmm.
We knew that going in because of what silliness they did in the off season. Only 4 wins out of the 16 games they're on right now, and right now they're having to take on Houston. It's going to be a rough go for that ball club. So, the question to you. Over under that they get 50 wins.
I hope over because they're one of my teams that you stuck me with.
I wasn't bringing that up on that, but I think the way they're playing right now, they'll be lucky to get 50 wins.
50 seems too low. They will be in that 100 loss range. So they might be in the 50s, but only 50 might seem a little low. All right, again, how about our 1/10 of the season through MVP and Cy Young, because this will not change at all. I'll go first with my MVP. How about Ronald Acuna Jr.? Obviously worried with his injury. Batting .419 on the year, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. Has been just lights out. And hopefully the injury doesn't last too long because he's so fun to watch.
Well, and
I'm glad he's not here this week as the Yankees have just beaten the Braves, and it helped because Acuna wasn't there. But long term, I hope he plays.
Yeah, and I love what he's doing. And just to play devil's advocate and not pick the same guy, the other one, I'm going to go to the team that is kind of just shocked everybody, and that is going to be the Boston Red Sox. And you look at JD Martinez. The old man is playing quite well. 383, he's slugging right at 800. He's got 23 hits. 13 of which are for extra bases, with 6 home runs, 13 Ks, and 20 RBIs. So, he's putting up the same numbers as what Acuna is, and I like.
He's been very good too.
But the age is the one thing that gets me. He's the old man on that team.
But he doesn't have to play the field.
Right, and they've got him DHing now. So
how about your Cy Young?
I'm leaning. I knew who you were going to go, and I did the same thing. I leaned away. I went with Marcus Stroman, 3-0. Right now, he's got a .9 ERA, 20 innings pitched, 11 Ks, 3 walks. He just looks right now. Right now, he looks like he is automatic. When he goes out there, he's going to give him 7 strong. It just looks that way right now.
He is such a strange pitcher for those strikeout numbers. He doesn't go for the strikeout.
No,
he
not
wants that
for
soft
strikeout.
contact, and he's so good at it.
So
he always drove me nuts when he was with Toronto for that same reason, because he doesn't look like he has that amazing of stuff.
No,
but he's so good at missing bats.
Right, and what I'm impressed with, and it takes me back to, the early '90s. Throw the ball like Tom Glavine did. Tom was not a huge. He was and Maddox. They weren't big K guys. They were pitch to contact.
Mm-hmm.
Let your fielders earn their money.
Absolutely.
Let them do it, and that's where I'm at. I'm the same thing with, like we were talking to start this whole segment off. I mean, give me the small ball. Let's make the pitcher pitch his pitches. Let the infielders do their thing. Let them do it.
By the way, aren't you so glad that baseball is back? We've been talking about baseball for 25 minutes, and it hasn't felt that long at all. Mine, as you said, to me is the obvious one. What an unlucky soul
I know.
is Jacob Degrom. He has pitched 3 starts.
Yep.
He has given up 1 earned run.
Just 1.
And his record is 1-1.
Yeah.
That is impossible to me. His ERA is 0.45 in 3 starts, and he's 1-1. He has a 0.7 whip, which is insane. 35 strikeouts and just 3 walks. His last 2 starts, he struck out 14 in each start. And his last start, or actually each of these last 2, kept getting pushed back with rain. And again, he's on one of my fantasy teams. I was like, oh, DeGrom's going to pitch today. Oh, no, it's rained out. All right, so tomorrow he's going to pitch. No, it got rained out. Yeah. It's just, what an insane start to the season to DeGrom, which is not surprising because this is how last year went for DeGrom.
Right, and what's funny is I was just trying to go back to our draft of who, right now you have him winning the Cy Young, but I'm trying to remember who you took. Who did we take? Which one of us? And where did we take him at? I mean, we had him a lot lower than what we figured was going to be.
I think that part got deleted, but we always have the teams.
But I mean, we didn't have them in.
I had them as my second team picked in the West.
Was it second? Okay. It's just
so they went after
crazy.
The Braves, Yankees, and Rays.
Yeah, it's just crazy to think that we're.
But I believe I have the Mets winning the division, don't I?
I think so.
You had them as a wild card, yeah, and I had them winning the East. So we both had them pretty far up there. And let's get into that. Let's get into the power rankings. As we look at the teams that we did draft, you're up by 19 already.
I wasn't going to say anything.
That's just how things work. Whatever. It's not as honestly. It's not as bad as basketball has been so far. So I will go with that. But give me your power rankings this week.
No change on the top 2. I mean, right now it's all LA. It's San Diego. Yeah. LA lost one yesterday to Seattle. Come back and get back on the win train. Same with San Diego. I'm going to keep them number 2, and they've had a couple. But I'm going to bump Boston all the way up. I'm going to put them in the 3rd spot. Just plain unbelievable. And after watching what JD Martinez has been doing, I'm impressed with what they're doing in the AL East. Yes, I'm going to play Homer, and I'm going to put them in the 4th spot. But I mean,
it's fair, right?
You're exactly right. It's fair right now. We're still way early, and we've talked about that. We're at almost the end of April. Maybe by mid-April or mid-May, that's going to change a bunch. But I've got Seattle 4 and Oakland, who is playing quite well, and they're pushing up the ranks in the AL West.
What is that? 9 wins in a row now for them as they won Game 1.
I think
today.
So.
My standings doesn't want to refresh. Yes, 9 straight wins for the A's after starting 1-7 on the year. They did win Game 1 of their doubleheader they're playing right now. My top 2 are the same as you. Dodgers, Padres. They're just so good right now. Obviously, the Padres record doesn't show it just yet, but they've had a very fun series with the Dodgers. I could watch the Padres and Dodgers play all season long. And there would be a lot of fistfights at that point if they had to play 162 games against each other. But that would be just fine with me. For me, my number 3 is a little surprising, actually. Give me the New York Mets. 7-4 in the year. They've dealt with a lot of having other teams have COVID issues that has messed up their schedule where they're supposed to play the Nationals to start, and that did not get done. The reason why I have them at 3 is a stat that I saw when I was looking up stuff. They have the least amount of home runs of any team in the league by a ways. I want to say they have single-digit home runs as a team. They have 6. They have 6 home runs as a team, yet they're still playing at a high level and getting wins. Obviously, we'd like to see them get some more run support for Jacob Degrom, but that pitching has been really, really good. And when you're looking for a team to do well in the postseason, you look at the pitching first. So that's where I go. You talked about them earlier. Give me the Oakland A's on a great hot streak. I thought they were going to be one of those teams to beat, and they're getting things rolling right now. And then I hate to put them here, but the Boston Red Sox are playing very, very well, especially at the plate. So I will give them credit and give them 5. And I probably would have Seattle as a 6. They are playing very well to start.
And Eric also, Tampa Bay is playing. They're playing okay.
They're playing better.
They're playing a lot better.
They struggled early on too. They love the fact that they've been able to play the Yankees 6 times. Tampa Bay is 5-1 against the Yankees to start the year. So that has helped their record.
And Eric does say Boston's going to come back down to earth. So
look at the scoreboard so far. We can't have sponsors for a college radio show, but we should come up with fake sponsors for this. MLB scoreboard presented by Eric Watkins. There we go. Eric, you are sponsoring this section for 0 cents, by the way. Dodgers did beat the Mariners 1-0. As I said earlier, the Athletics won Game 1 of their doubleheader against the Twins 7-0. Yankees, just a minute ago, finished off the Braves 3-1. Going on, or just ending right now, the White Sox beat the Indians 8-5. Rodon pitched well, gave up only 2 runs on 3 hits over 5 innings after his no-hitter last week. Top of the 8th inning, Diamondbacks and Reds tied at 4. The Orioles beating the Marlins 7-5 in the bottom of the 8th. That Marte injury obviously showing big signs for the Marlins already. Top of the 9th inning, Nationals over the Cardinals 3-2. Giants over the Phillies 7-6 in the top of the 8th. Red Sox over the Blue Jays 4-2 in the top of the 9th inning. Cubs over the Mets 3-1 in the 6th. In the 5th inning, Eric's Rays leading the Royals 6-4. And scoreless right now early on, Astros and Rockies in the 4th inning, and Rangers and Angels scoreless after the top of the 1st. So the Brewers and Padres get to get going.
So yours must have refreshed, because just a second ago, mine still shows bases loaded for the Rangers right now. Ohtani on the mound for the Angels.
Thank you, MLB.com, for having quick updates.
That's where I'm at.
Oh, yeah. There you go. I forgot Eric's joke sponsor that we have on the podcast. Rick's TNT LLC. Thank you very much. There you go. Forgot about Rick's TNT.
Let's
commercial coming soon and all that stuff.
Let's give him a shout out really quick, and we're going to plug it a couple more times tonight. As we're going to have Eric Watkins joining us next Thursday.
Yes.
Set your calendars. It is going to be a night of R&R. We're going to add a little E and a little D with us.
What?
Eric and Derek going to join us for a NFL draft night here on R&R Sports Report.
So next Thursday, 5 p.m. local time. We will not be on the radio, but we will just be on Facebook and YouTube. We'll do streaming. We're still going to follow school radio rules because we're still associated with KLCZ, even though we won't be on there. But we wanted to have a little bit of fun with it. Since we won't be on the radio, it's easier to connect with other people. So Eric is from the W2M Network, which I write video game reviews for, do a couple podcasts for. I've done a lot of stuff with Eric. He has been nice enough to hang out with us most every Tuesday. So, of course, I had to reach out for him. He's a Jacksonville Jaguars fan. So he'll be able to talk about Trevor Lawrence to start. He's going to join us the entire first round. And I got confirmation today. Derek from the Time Spent Poorly Network here in Lewiston, used to be part of KLCZ, used to work here at LC. He will join us as well next Thursday. He's a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, so it'll be interesting to get you, the Ravens fan, with the Steelers fan going head-to-head. It'll be pretty fun.
Maybe it'll bring back memories of me and Mitchell going at it. Huh? That'll be interesting. So, yeah, looking forward to it. So look for all of us sharing out. Let people know that we are getting ready to do that. And,
and also,
it's going to be a fun night.
If you know anyone that is a big fan of a team that wants to talk with us.
No Wilson. Wilson
won't be able to make it.
I don't know. I didn't ask.
Oh, you just didn't want Wilson there from Dallas. Maybe we'll get somebody else as a Cowboy. But if they want to talk about their team's draft pick as it's getting ready to be announced, so we can get their live reaction, as long as they understand no cussing and no losing their minds, to have them go ahead and contact us here at the R&R Sports Report on Facebook, and we will get with them to try to set that up. As long as they have a webcam and a microphone, we're gonna have some fun with it. We need some people to talk about over the 4 or 5 hours that thing takes.
I don't think we'll find any like Cleveland Brown fans or maybe a few. Maybe if
there's more Jets fans in this valley than I thought, so maybe there's hidden Browns fans somewhere.
Maybe I should find Cole. Maybe I should get Cole on there with us. You know, he's one of those huge Ravens fans. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. Drop us a note. Say, hey, let's do it, and be one of those guys. We'll get your predictions on what's going to happen. So, again, that is next Thursday night. Mark your calendars. Next Thursday night, the 29th, we'll kick things off at 5 o'clock.
All right, you are listening to the R&R Sports Report right here on KLCZ 88.9 FM Lewiston. And again, please, if you are listening on the radio, we are 11 follows away on Facebook on our R&R Sports Report page to make Robert Nye face Kai Fong 2-on-1 in a tennis match. We are really, really close.
I don't know, man. I was talking to somebody else about Kai there earlier, and I was just real nervous still. I mean, it's been 20, we won't say as loud as I want to, how many years it's been playing golf. Playing tennis. And
hey, if you're thinking golf when we go into this match, we're screwed.
I think that's where I'd rather be playing.
So yeah, we are 11 follows away. I have a feeling that we will get there when we do this draft special. I'm hoping at least. But maybe anybody that has been following us so far, likes the page, or even just hangs out with us, we appreciate every single one of you.
We need to make sure we hit up our guests that come in, like Riley and Jake and all those guys. Make sure you follow. Tell everybody about tell them about it.
Well, maybe they don't want to be heard on the radio. They sneak in here and they don't want to be heard. But speaking of guests, we have another one here today that I forgot to change the name of on here. So give me 1 second.
Way to go. What are we going to do with you?
I need you to vamp a little bit.
We can talk all day long about it, but this unbelievable what this person has been doing out on the golf course. She has been playing almost lights out for your Warriors, and it has been a great season for her. What have you finished like third in the top 3 or top 5 over the last few tournaments? Miss Lauren Ham joining us here in the station.
Yeah, thank you for having me here.
Here, have you talk right in. That mic is really bad, so maybe talk right into that.
And Lauren's from Ferndale, Washington. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to come over to Lcsc?
Well, I visited before coming here, and I really, really liked the area. I really liked the school and how it was student-athlete oriented. Great weather compared to what I'm used to on the west side. We get a lot of rain over there.
I would say it rains on the west side all the time. Well, everybody says it rains here all the time too, but no.
Not like that, yeah.
So you've had quite a season. Let's talk a little bit about your season and how things are going. What's happened with your game? How has it exploded this last season?
Yeah, well, it's really, really advanced this season. I'd say something that really has gotten better is my short game, my putting especially. I think that's where a lot of my strokes are being gained, and mentally too. I think I'm a lot stronger this year mentally. Just being able to put bad shots behind me, I've really improved on that this year, which has caused me to shoot better scores.
So what is helping with that? Just practice on the greens, or being able to read them a little bit better, or what's been the biggest improvement?
I think a combination of both. Putting in the practice, and that practice allows me to build confidence that I can then take onto the golf course and execute it out there. So practice for sure. Practice.
So how has practice changed over the last, over the last year or so? I mean, dealing with all the COVID stuff, we talked a lot with Kai Fong with the tennis team. We've talked with AJ. We had Riley on tonight. We talked a little bit about what things have changed. And how has it been difficult for your team to be practicing during all this COVID situation?
Yeah, it's been different this year. We've been split up a lot.
Mhm.
Like instead of practicing, men and women, it's separate men than women. We're trying to play, like, keep roommates and close friends together, as to limit like contact with others. So that's been different. We've basically been able to play at all the courses in the area, which has been we're really grateful for that we can still get out and play every week. It's different because it's an outdoor sport, so there's not really too many limitations that we face, but it has been challenging for sure.
What has been your favorite course to play at?
That's a tough one. I've played a lot of nice courses. I really like Bandon Dunes in Oregon. That's a nice resort over there that I've played a couple times. I actually had a hole-in-one there, which was really cool. So yeah, I'd say that is my favorite probably.
Is it just because of the hole-in-one though?
No. That has something to do with it,
Right.
but no, it's just right on the Oregon coast, so you just have the coastline and the ocean, and it's really, really pretty. Really nice course too, so that plays into it as well.
Well, I did mention that you are from Ferndale,
Mhm.
and you played varsity as a junior and a senior, honor roll. Did you play any other sports while you were over at Ferndale?
Yeah, I played soccer growing up. So actually, I didn't start golfing till my junior year of high school. So I grew up playing soccer. I played volleyball, basketball. I ran cross country. I really tried to try everything to see what I really liked, and it ended up being golf that I loved the most and stuck with it.
So I have to ask this. You asked me. You said hole-in-one. What is
Mhm.
your lowest score that you've ever shot? Have you been in the 60s?
No, not yet. My lowest is even par 72, which I actually shot in a tournament this year here at Lewiston Golf and Country Club. But I've yet to shoot under par. That was one of my goals for this year. So I'm hoping that I can still achieve that.
I think it'll come, right?
Well, you have the conference tournament here next week, so that'll be a perfect time, I think.
Yeah, I hope
to go
so.
on the park. Have you played at the course that you'll be playing at down there?
I haven't,
before?
no. We're playing at Timberstone, which is in Caldwell, Idaho. I've never played it. I've only heard good things about it, though, so I'm really excited to go over there and try it.
So my biggest question is, obviously, we're big into bowling. We both played tennis when we were younger, so a bit individual sports, kind of like golf.
Mhm.
But with golf, you're so spread out from your teammates. So how is it building that camaraderie when you're out there? It's basically just you.
Right. Yeah. Well, my team, we're really close and great friends. Definitely when you're on the course, you are playing by yourself. We still see each other out there, but yeah, it's definitely an individual sport. Obviously, we root for each other and want the best for our teammates. We build a lot of bonds. We go on, have long van rides. So we're stuck in a car for 10 hours. You really get to know people that way. But yeah, we're very close, I'd say.
Is there a lot of self-competition between the team, or?
Yeah, we're very competitive with each other. It keeps it fun at practice. I love competitiveness too, so that is fun. We're very close in score, I'd say. Most of us, especially in the top 5, we're very close, so it is competitive, yeah.
All right, so didn't see much on your bio. What are we going to school for here at Lcsc, and what are your future plans after graduation? You still got a year or so left.
Well, I'm graduating this May, actually, so only
wow.
less than a month. But I'm getting a degree in business sports administration, as well as an academic certificate in movement psychology and sports marketing. And after college, I'd really love to stay in the golf industry, not necessarily as a player, but I don't know exactly what I want to do, but I think it would be cool to be like a representative, say for Titleist or some other golf company, or work in golf management too, managing a course, teaching lessons.
Well, I was just say, can you work with Randy?
There is zero helping me.
I,
100%. There's no way you're going to fix my 50-foot slice.
no, it's nasty. I mean, if we're hitting this way, I mean, his feet are way over that way. I mean, it's
Hey, it ends up where it needs to go. All right.
Exactly. Hey, I tried to get you out on the course this weekend, but you got to work.
I got to do some baseball. That's just how it goes. So again, Lauren, you had a fantastic weekend. You finished tied for second, 79-78, beat Alexandra by what was it? A couple shots, by 2 shots. Did you get on her a little bit for that one, or?
No, not really. She played really well that weekend too. We were both in the top 5, which was really good. But her and I'd say, are very competitive with each other. So that's fun that way for both of us, I think.
So what is practice like on the golf course? Are you just going out and playing rounds, or do you guys have a day where you just hit the putting green? Or
Yeah, it depends on the day. Like this week, for example, yesterday we putted on the practice green for an hour, and then we went out and played 9 holes. Today I had practice and we again putted on the green, and then went out on the course and hit wedge shots. Some days we'll work on iron shots, tee shots, but we do a lot of putting and chipping. Like I said earlier, I think that is what really makes a round a great round versus a okay round is your putting, I think. So I'm glad that we work on that a lot.
I think that's where I've come. I mean, yeah, I like to pull out the driver, but I work so much more on my short irons that I feel more comfortable and things starting to finally put themselves together. I mean, that's got to be a mental thing. What kind of mental strategies do you do when you go into matches or even into practice? Is there some things, pre-routine things, pre-shot things that you try to go through?
I just try to play with confidence every time, even if I don't feel like even just pretending that you have confidence can really like visualizing the shot too. I do a lot of visualizing before every shot, trying to see the line when I'm putting to see where the ball is going to go into the hole. Those are sort of mental things that I do. But I think confidence is a big thing. Playing with confidence really can improve your game, I'd say.
So we haven't had a lot of golfers on yet. We've had Gino on, but who do we look at besides Lauren Ham on this team going forward? Is there somebody that really stands out that you would like to let us know about, who we should be following as we go into playoff time?
Yeah, I think Alex, who you mentioned earlier, she took third at our last tournament. She's really improved this year a lot too, along with Dina Caruso. They both, like all 3 of us, shoot in the 70s every tournament, at least one round. On the men's side, Carlos Davila is really good. He has won a tournament this year also and has had a few top 5 finishes, along with Devin Caruso, who's Dina's brother. He's also had some good finishes.
And they're both from Pomeroy, because I've heard that name many times, and I know that they've played quite well. So
yeah.
So it's good to see that. All right, now we get to have a little fun with you.
Sure.
So we always try to do this with our guests, kind of just throw out different things, different names, that kind of stuff, things that you like. So we're going to try, it's nothing hard. We're just going to throw it out there. And the first one I'm going to ask you is kind of the same question I asked Riley to start things off. If you were to have somebody that you emulated your game off of, who would it be?
That is a tough one. I would say Jordan Spieth. Watching him when he gets his putter going, he can make anything out there. And I think, like, even if you could have a bad iron shot, but as long as you can drain a 50-foot putt for birdie and tell your caddy to go pick it up, I would take that.
I was trying to figure out what a 50-foot birdie putt would feel like. I have no
It's pretty
idea.
exciting.
I've done it on the video games before.
Yeah, but I mean, what is it? That doesn't count, no. All right. Do you follow any other sports? What would be your favorite sports team?
The Seahawks. I'm a big
What is with
football
today?
fan.
Did you hang out with Riley early today?
I didn't.
Oh man.
Yeah, my dad has been season ticket holder since before I was born.
So I'll ask you the same question I asked him. Should they trade Russell Wilson?
No, I don't want him
It's
to.
my favorite question as a Seahawks fan.
No, I don't want him to.
What's your favorite sports movie?
What? Miracle, that hockey movie.
Okay.
I really like that one.
You know, I like the last 2 weeks worth of questions. They haven't picked a movie with their sport that they're in. That's awesome.
I was waiting for Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, that is a good one too.
All right, favorite snack food. If you had to reach into the cupboard and pull something out, what would it be?
Probably high chews. I really love high chews, and I eat those on the golf course every hole pretty much. Or goldfish.
There you go.
Goldfish.
I got a teacher that keeps those high chews right by his desk that I work with, and I think a bag lasts maybe a week.
Yeah,
From
they're
Costco.
good.
I'm talking a Costco bag.
Now the question is, does a bag last you a whole round? Or
It's pretty close. I eat quite a bit of them.
what's your favorite class here at Elsie?
I'm in sports psychology right now. That's very interesting.
Who does that class?
Colin Fair is the teacher. It's very interesting, especially as a golfer, because golf is such a mental, psychological sport that I feel like I'm learning a lot about.
And that is
Even
why
myself.
you're shooting about even par, and
Yeah.
my pitching wedge ends up farther than the ball usually after I throw it. So, after I lose my mind. Who's your favorite teacher?
I would probably say Colin Fair. I've had him for a few classes. He last year actually was our mental coach for golf too. So I met him through that. But I've enjoyed every class I've had with him.
So we talked a little bit about your teammates. Let's talk a couple of names on the coaching staff. We talked. Everybody knows who Gordy Gregg is just because of his past job and all that. But what do you know? What about Chris? I met Chris a few years ago. Chris Lean also, and his wife is the head coach. Kylo, what about those two? What do they bring to your game and to this team?
Yeah, they're both great coaches. Chris is an assistant coach. He actually played golf at Lcsc and was very successful at his time here. So I learned a lot from him on the swing side, and just watching him play is really cool because he can just go out on any day and shoot 65 like it's nothing. So I feel like I've learned a lot about the game through him. And then Kyla is our head coach. It's actually her last season as the head coach this year. So, and she's been my coach here the 3 years that I've been here. So she's always been great and very helpful on the golf course and off the golf course too. Keeping track with academics with us, making sure everyone's on the right track individually, which has been really nice. And she always takes care of us on golf trips, and they're both great coaches.
Well, we've had a lot of great coaches we've talked to over the last few weeks. And so to hear what they bring in what we've talked about many times over the last couple months is Lcsc used to be known as just a baseball school. And now with your teammates, you and the way you're golfing and, the tennis team and even the cross country, they're bringing Lcsc's name out to a whole different realm. It's not, we're not just a baseball school anymore. We're a basketball school. We're an all around, this is the spot you want to go. So we appreciate you coming in with us tonight, Lauren.
Yeah, I guess Lauren and the golf teams will be in Caldwell, Idaho next Monday and Tuesday for the Cascade Conference Championships. Lauren, best of luck out there.
Thank you.
We will be updating everybody here on Tuesday night. Usually, Alicia will post something like an hour into our show. I always try to get our notes done, and I'm like, I don't know how the golf team did on Tuesday. And then she'll always post it like right as we're getting going. So we will be keeping an eye out and wish you the best of luck out there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on today, too.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
All right. We appreciate Lauren Ham joining us here tonight here on the R&R Sports Report, and it is great. 7:17 is the time, and it is gorgeous outside. I don't know if you got the computer backup running, but we're
hopefully it didn't completely mess up the radio station.
I don't know. We'll find out.
The radio computer completely restarted on me, and then all of a sudden I had Seth in my ear. Once it rebooted, it started right up. But it is currently 61 degrees outside, and we finally got that wind to go away.
Yeah. One of KLCZ's sister organizations here at Lcsc is the Warrior Entertainment Board, known as WEB to those in the know. Bring all kinds of entertainment and things here to Lcsc. And if it's something that works, and if you want more information about WEB, come and visit them here at lcsc.edu/warrior-entertainment today.
All right, let's quickly go to more LC sports. As if you want to sing the national anthem at the NAIA World Series, Robert.
I don't think I could do any much more singing like I used to.
Well, you should still show up. April 30th from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. at Harris Field. They will have open tryouts for anyone that wants to sing the national anthem. Paul actually is listening.
Paulie.
There you go. That's what you need to do, Paul.
In the voice of Frank Sinatra. Man, that dude can some wail out some Sinatra. I think he needs to come and.
All right. Absolutely. All right, real quick on the rest of the sports, because it's already 7:20. I don't know where 2 hours go.
And we haven't even talked NFL stuff.
We've talked nothing but baseball. But the baseball team do split their series with St. Martin's, as we had talked with Riley earlier. They went 10-3 in game 1, 5-7 game 2. They're now 31-3 overall. We just had Lauren on. The women finished second in the Bishonet Invitational. Lauren had finished tied for second, and as she said, Alex Schmidt finished fourth. Men's side finished fifth in theirs, but Carlos, who struggled in his first round, shoots an 83, finishes 73-72 his last 2 rounds to finish tied for seventh. We brought it up last week how the Kai was going nuts on the tennis teams again. They had a great road trip.
Yeah, they did.
Out in the Indiana, Michigan area. Both teams finished 1-3 on the road trip, but again, the men played 3 ranked teams, played really well, lose 2-5 in all 3 of their first 3 matchups against Marion, Northwestern Ohio, and Indiana Wesleyan, who's ranked 8th overall. But then they do beat Spring Arbor 5-2. Atara Kikuchi, I don't know if I think he won at least 1 match in all 4 of those sets. So congratulations to him. Women also go 1-3. They lose a tough one, 3-4 to number 25 Marion. Struggled a bit against Northwestern Ohio, losing 1-6, and then losing 0-7 to number 4 Indiana Wesleyan. So no push over there. But then they do finish strong, finishing with a 6-1 win over Spring Arbor. They won 2 of the 3 doubles matches, and their only loss in singles, lost in a tough third set tiebreaker. So again, very, very young teams for both the men and women, and getting tested every single week by Kai. So they are going to be a team to watch over the next few years. And then last but not least, track and field had 2 runners qualify for outdoor nationals in 3 different events. Of course, these 2 names we've said every single week because they're doing indoor track and outdoor track and cross country. But Cole Olson hit the automatic mark with the 5,000 meters, and Clayton Van Dyke ran a B time in both the 1,500 and 800 meters. Shout out to Ike Hopper, a freshman who set personal best in the 110 and 400 meter hurdles. He beat his best time in the 400 meter hurdles by 4 seconds and finished second in that event. Carly Smith finishes third in the 400 meters and broke the 60-second mark for the first time in her career, finishing with a 58.8. Geraldine Carrera finishes 4th. Friend of the show, Annika Grogan, finishes 5th in the 200 meters. And the 4x400 meter relay team with Emily Adams, Riley Brown, Maja Plasnik, and Geraldine Correa finished 3rd in that event. Congratulations to all of them. The track and field has their Cascade Conference multis on Thursday and Friday in Ashland, Oregon. Again, golf Monday and Tuesday in the Cascade Conference Championships, and baseball last regular season home games here Friday, Saturday, and Sunday against College of Idaho. And if you're around on Saturday, I will be the PA for both of those games.
We might have to come down after we're done golf and listen to you for a little while. So
Robert says he does not have the range nor the pitch to give it right.
Yeah.
Come on, Paul.
Paul,
Give it the Rosie O'Donnell treatment. Give it a try.
I think he's more afraid of the TikToks happening than anything like that. So,
all right, let's hit some NFL news just real quick because, God, the show's just flown by. Alex Smith has retired. My question to you, like I gave you Julian Edelman, is Alex Smith a Hall of Famer?
I hate to say it, but no.
Why not Alex Smith, but yes to Julian Edelman?
I think it's just playoff wins. I mean, it comes down kind of like what Jim told us last week. It's going to come down to playoff stuff. I just don't think his playoff record is going to get him the big push. Yeah, he played quite well in San Francisco. Comes back from the horrific leg injury. I just don't think it's quite enough.
I think I was with you until I researched it today, and I will give you what I found. Okay. So I was with you. I was like, well, the story is great.
The story's awesome.
You can put the story in the Hall of Fame. You can put a cast of his leg, what it looked like afterwards in the Hall of Fame if you want to go crazy.
Can I have just the brace? Did you see the ugly looking brace of it?
Man.
Oh, that was just nasty.
However, there have been 17 quarterbacks to win at least 100 games in their career.
Okay.
Every single one of them that is Hall of Fame eligible has made the Hall of Fame. Obviously, the ones that have not, you have Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben, and Tom Brady currently playing.
Right.
Peyton Manning is going into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
The other ones that have not made it but could possibly, Drew Brees, obviously going to make it. The two close ones to me is Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning. I think Eli will get in because of his 2 Super Bowl wins. Phillip is close.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
The rest of that list, out of those 17, have all made the Hall of Fame. Alex Smith has 99 wins. He is 18th all-time in wins. So that one makes it really, really close. He's had a better career than I thought.
Yeah.
The way I looked at it was he lost his job to Colin Kaepernick, went to Kansas City, played well, lost his job to Patrick Mahomes, which
and I understand
anyone's going to lose their job to Patrick Mahomes.
I think what really shafted him was him getting pushed out the way he did out of San Francisco. I'm 100% on board with what he did in Kansas City, so
Eric says he still has mixed feelings because he visited Jacksonville and then retired. I do believe that one. I'm not going to speak for Alex Smith, but that Urban Meyer was his head coach in Utah, so I think there was talks there for him possibly being a backup. Maybe he just didn't want to be the backup, or he was hoping that Urban Meyer would let him be the starter so they would have time to mold Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, you're not taking Trevor Lawrence one and then not starting him, so that wasn't going to happen. But I found some other really cool stats about Alex Smith. We talked about Tom Brady playing New England next year with a chance to be the 4th quarterback to beat all 32 teams. Alex Smith has beaten 31 of the 32 teams. Can you name the one team he did not beat?
Oh, why did I knew you were going to go that direction? One team he has not beaten. I think, and it's going to be kind of funny saying it, but I think it's probably going to be a team that he played for.
Yeah.
It'll be Kansas City.
It is Kansas City Chiefs. I then looked, because again, I was trying to find a list of all-time wins for quarterbacks. So and I finally found it, but I found these stats as I was going. I then found a list of the quarterbacks that lost to the most amount of teams. There has never been a quarterback to lose to all 32 teams. There's never been a quarterback to lose to all 31. But there have been 7 that have lost to 30 of the 32 teams. Alex Smith is one of them. Can you name the two teams that Alex Smith never lost to?
Never lost to.
I think that's a way more fun
I would
stat.
say Kansas City, and I lean the other direction, and I'm actually going to say Seattle.
It's not Seattle. What was your first one you said?
I said Kansas City.
It is neither of those.
Wow.
It is the Cleveland Browns and Miami Dolphins are the two teams that Alex Smith never lost to. The other 6 names on this list, Brett Favre doesn't surprise me because he played long enough.
Right.
He was beaten by everybody but Houston and Washington. Matt Hasselbeck,
Okay.
Detroit and Seattle were the only 2 teams he never lost to. Drew Brees, of course, he's been around forever. The only 2 teams he never lost to were the 2 teams he played for, the Saints and the Chargers. Drew Bledsoe is on the list. He never lost to the Cardinals or Chargers. I said Matt Hasselbeck. John Kitna.
The Cardinals, huh?
Never lost to the Cardinals. John Kitna never lost to the Bengals or the Texans. And Carson Palmer was on there. Never lost to the Bears or Washington.
Wow.
Those are the teams that have, or the quarterbacks that have lost to 30 teams, which is a weird stat. Ryan Fitzpatrick has actually lost to 28 teams. He's also played for 28 teams.
I think that's the best one there. Fitzmagic's played for everything. Well, he has. He's just been that way. How do you feel about Mike Tomlin signing a 3-year deal extension?
Kind of surprised.
I think a lot depends on, what did I hear today? 3 coaches total since 1969 for Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not surprised because it is the Steelers, and they he's been coaching well. They had a good year last season. They overperformed in the first half,
right,
and then came crashing down to earth. But I don't think that's his fault.
I think the big thing is what's going to happen with Big Ben. That's the thing. I mean, we already know. I think he moves on. Do they draft a quarterback this year? I mean, that's a huge question. Round. No, not in the first round. I don't see it in the first round either. But, I mean, I think a lot depends on what happens in this draft, what happens with Mike Tomlin in the next.
Yeah, and that division's not getting any easier.
And they're losing Villanueva, guess where he went and looked and had a meeting.
Looked at Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, also Jordan Reed retires. Are you shocked with that one?
No, he's had so many injury issues and concussions, and
I heard like 7 or 9.
It's so many,
almost 10 concussions.
He had a decent year, but just looking at his stats, played 2013, only played 9 games, only played 11 games in 2014, only played 14 games in 2015. 12 games in 2016, 6 games in 2017, then 13, then none. And then just 10 games last year. So he had so many injuries that he dealt with.
I think it's
not surprising.
It's a smart thing to do. DJ Fluker lands with Miami. He was drafted by the Chargers when he played for the Giants, the Seahawks, and the Ravens last year. Is that the help Miami needs?
I don't think he's the answer. I mean, he might help, but I don't think he's going to be the one that pushes them over the top.
Can you imagine him playing with Jesse Davis? Davis on one side and Fluker on the other. I mean, both guys on the tackles. I like that. And the big one, I think, for me is the stat the note you put in there. AP.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson is looking to be on a contender. I would be unsurprised if he ended up in Tampa Bay.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine? But I mean, look at what AB saw him sign down there because they don't want to give him the money.
Right.
It'll be interesting.
It's crazy. It's so crazy to me that they've re-signed every single starter on that team.
It's gonna be crazy.
But yeah, I could see Adrian Peterson signing there for the league minimum and just being there to help out, just trying to get a ring. Would not surprise me. All right, let's do a super quick Randy's Believe It or Not, our last NFL draft edition of this game. Next week, we'll probably do another mock draft or something to prepare ourselves for the draft. But really quick ones, all right, because we got a half hour left, and we have an hour left of the show. Miami will trade out of the 6th pick.
I don't.
They
think-
were 3, then they traded to 12, then they traded up to 6, and now the rumor is that Atlanta is probably going to stay at 4. So now the best pick to trade up for is Miami at 6.
I think that they're going to keep it. I know they've been getting phone calls about it. That was a huge article on NFL.com over the last day or so. I think they stay put with the 6th pick.
I think they trade it. I think they want Kyle Pitts, and a lot of mock drafts I've seen have him moving down the board because of all the quarterbacks going up.
Yeah.
More than 5 wide receivers will be drafted in the first round this year.
I'm going to say less. I don't think. I see 3 teams that need that.
I see 3 wide receivers in the first 12 picks.
I think there's really a lot more need, I think, on offensive line and defensive backs. You'd be surprised. I think maybe 3 total in the first round.
Oh, I'm saying over. I'm saying 6. How about Kyle Pitts will end up being a top 5 tight end of all time? This is a tough one to figure out because we're not going to be around that long. But.
Yeah, you're saying all time, but I mean, you got to put the same names as, Gonzo. You got to put the same names with Sharp.
Yeah.
That's tough. Right now, I would say no. He is a great athlete. He is unbelievable for Florida. He played lights out for the Gators. I don't know if I could put him in that early top 5 spot.
I mean, what are you looking at for top 5? You got Kelsey, probably.
Kelsey,
Gonzo, you said.
Gonzo,
Gates, Witten, Gronk, Sharp.
Yeah.
Some of those 5. It's going to be very tough. But everything I'm seeing as far as draft grades go is like, this is another level as far as, I mean, now will he have the pro career? It's yet to be seen. But
and if they keep playing, and I'm not trying to sound like a homer, but look at Mark Andrews, what he's done over the last couple of years. I mean, he's looked really well. I mean, he's that check down guy for.
But I don't think Kyle Pitts is a check down guy.
No, he's going to be a big target. So,
right. So we'll obviously we'll see about that. That's high marks to try to get for Pitts. How about the one that always happens, especially with my team, where here's the quarterback, he's the future, and he turns out to be a bust. We talked about it last week. There's a good chance that 5 quarterbacks go in the top 10 picks this year. Believe it or not, 3 of those 5 quarterbacks will be complete busts.
I don't think 3 of them. I think 2 of them will be busts, but it depends on it's how they're brought up, how they play. I mean, Saleh. If Saleh can turn things around, I'm still up in the air, like you and I have talked about, who your team's taking at number. And I know there's a ton of pressure on Trevor Lawrence right now, and he's getting so much feedback and flack back from his comments of, is he ready to go? What does
100% focus?
Yeah, what does that do for his psyche?
Drives me absolutely nuts. Oh, you don't live and die by football? Oh, we shouldn't draft you number 1. Stop it.
Yep.
It's a game.
I agree.
We come on here and talk sports for 2 hours, but they're games. All right, we're having fun. It's not life or death. Calm down. Actually, real quick, I want to give a shout out to, I forget his last name, but his first name's Eric. He's in my sports comm class. We all had to watch a documentary and talk about it, and he talked about the 2 Escobars, the 30 for 30 one.
Right.
Where one of the Escobars was part of the cartel and the other one was killed after scoring an own goal. And you're supposed to have personal reflection on it. And his first reflection was, you shouldn't be killed for scoring an own goal. Like, sports are not that serious, people. Just when we have fun about it, we'll debate, we'll argue. Just calm down. And my last one on here, we'll talk about scheduling soon. Usually we already have the schedule before the draft, but with adding the extra game, it's obviously got pushed back. And last year got pushed back because of COVID. But so we'll have to wait a little bit after the draft for the scheduling. But this relates back to the draft. Jacksonville and the Jets play each other this year. Believe it or not, it will be a week 1 matchup. Excuse me, I'll even add one more. It'll be a week 1 prime time matchup.
I don't know if that had happened, but it'll be interesting to see. No, I mean, there's too many other possibilities that go out. I could see it being a prime time when they play, but I don't see it being week 1.
I can see it Monday night. Usually has a doubleheader on Monday night.
Yeah, because we've gotten used to seeing the LA Chargers on that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to pick on
And
Duke. I'm not trying to pick on Duke for anything. But
We saw it. Sam Darnold, I think it was his debut was on Monday night against Detroit. I remember that because we were coming back from watching the Yankees play the Mariners, and I turned my phone off so people would not spoil what happened on Monday Night Football. Or I told people not to, and all of a sudden I got service. I didn't turn it off, but I wasn't looking at my phone. I get service and I look, and everyone was like, just don't watch the game because you threw a pick 6 the first play. So I'm now dreading watching this game for 3 hours. He played much better the rest of that game.
I think you got Paulie all fired up. Oops. Wrong one. There we go. Why do you think I don't want to sing the national anthem?
You do.
I think you do want to sing it. You just don't want to be the TikTok that somebody records. I think that might be it. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm pressuring you to be the national anthem. I want to be the PA announcer announcing, singing the national anthem as Paul Dazenbrock. That's what I want.
Sign him up. Sign him up. All right, let's do a couple of quick shout-outs for some high school sports. Lots of things going on the high school level. The Bantams finally get to go in on their baseball schedules. They do split on Saturday. They will travel up. They did travel up tonight to take on Shadle Park. JV looked really good this last weekend. They their first pitch today was 4 o'clock. Varsity played at 6, so they are probably just now finishing up, and then they'll play a doubleheader at North Central on Saturday. Friend of the show, Jim Holman's Asotin Panthers team did not get to play on Saturday. That game postponed due to COVID with Liberty High School. They were playing a doubleheader today against Northwest Christian. We'll have some highlight stats with that next week. And then Lewiston Baseball sweeps Lake City last weekend and come away with a couple double-digit wins, went in 11-7 and 12-5. They're playing a doubleheader today in Coeur d'Alene, and then they've got a doubleheader in Sandpoint on Saturday. Clarkson softball looking a little rough. They had a rough outing last night. They gave up 21 runs in the first inning and lose that game to Shadle Park 28-0. They are very young, a very young group of ladies, but I'm excited to see where they go. And a couple of big signings for Spokane Community College. The Sasquatch is their team. New head coach Jessica Kramer, who was hired in November of 2020, get commitment signings from Genesee's Clara Osborne, along with Glory Sabota from Lapway and Glory's cousin, AJ Sabota, the Clarkson Bantam, all signing their letter of intent on Saturday to play for the Sasquatch up in Spokane next year.
Let's talk football real quick because Paul's around, and we could go talking about Eastern Washington making the playoffs. How nice is it to see a 16-team playoff in football? NCAA, looking at you, Division I.
Exactly.
But it will be 12:30 on Saturday. Eastern Washington will take on North Dakota State. So definitely a hard matchup right out of the gate for Eastern Washington.
We're going to hit really quick, but I want these stories to stay to next week. We'll talk a little bit. The two big stories for Gonzaga. Actually, three big stories coming out of Gonzaga this week. Longtime Gonzaga assistant Tommy Lloyd, ready to become an Arizona coach. I like that. I think it's well deserving for Tommy Lloyd to get his first head coaching job. Also, Suggs has decided that he is going NBA.
Not surprising.
Not surprising.
I've seen most mock drafts have him top 3.
Yeah.
So, again, you're not going to get better. I mean, obviously you can get better as a player.
Yeah.
And as far as draft pick goes, it's not going to get better.
And that's what, I was talking with Mike Sperry, my principal today, and one of the other coaches, Pat Ogden, there today. I think we could benefit from one more year of him playing, get that point total up a little bit more, averaging more than 14 a game. I think being in college would have helped. What does that do for Timmy? We'll soon find out, because guess what? Gonzaga's getting a 7'1" player from high school. The number one player from high school has signed his letter of intent, Chet Holmgren. If you have not watched his little bit of film that I put out on the page, make sure you go back and check that out.
He is a 7'1" beanpole with point guard ball handling skills.
Did you see the knockdown three? Shot pop, puts the three.
Like, the three is not impressive to me. It was his ball handling, coming up the court and then facilitating with somebody and then getting in the position to get the rebound for the dunk.
Oh, yeah.
He obviously needs to add a little bit of size to him, but it's a fantastic get for Gonzaga. It would be interesting to see Suggs still on that team with him coming in. But it's really funny that I bet if you ask many of the Zags fans around here, especially my father, if they're sad to see Suggs go, they're going to say no.
They're going to say no.
Which it still boggles my mind. He's a very good player. They just, for whatever reason, there's a lot of Zags fans that just did not like him.
Yeah. And I think what will determine if Timmy sticks around is that. But can you imagine, and I had the opportunity, like I said, I was talking with my principal, Mike Sperry, up there at middle school today, and we talked that he actually, I'm excited to see where this freshman, Greg, that played up in Spokane, and I think he was at Lewis and Clark, if I remember. Sperry actually played with his dad here at LC. They were Warriors here at LC. So I'm excited to see, what does Holmgren bring? What does Greg bring? What, God, can you imagine if he wouldn't have declared?
The team could have been.
I mean,
I think they're still going to be really, really good.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting. We got to talk about this Super League that was going to show up in soccer and then already looks like it's falling apart because of the backlash of it. Have you heard anything about
I heard
this?
a little bit.
I know very little. You are going to listen to two morons talk about this topic. Hopefully Eric's still on because he knows a lot more about it. But basically, from everything I've read and everything I've seen from people that follow this, is American owners are trying to Americanize soccer and create a privatized league of like 20 teams. So it'd be like the NFL, where obviously with soccer, especially in Europe, what I love about the way they run their leagues is if you suck, you're not in that league anymore.
Right.
You get relegated out, they're going to bring another team in. It doesn't matter if you're a rich team or a poor team. If you do well on the field, you're going to get up into the bigger leagues and make more money. And these guys were trying to privatize it and say, even if you suck, you'll still be in our Super League and make lots and lots of millions of dollars.
And Eric just says this idea isn't dead, trust me. So it'll be interesting to see where this evolves here a little bit more in the next week or so. So be crazy to think about.
Don't think NFL, think EuroLeague basketball. Because that's what we think about is EuroLeague basketball. Listen, we're no Americans. We don't know any of this stuff. We get into Aussie rules football. That's as far as we go. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes. As Eric said in the chat, it's not dead. It'll be interesting. Obviously, when there's that much money involved, it's tough to kill things. Right? Even if you get the bad publicity that they're getting right now, and these teams are saying they're dropping out. If the money proves to be there, and they get the sponsorships that they think they're going to get, and they get the TV rights that they believe they're going to get, those teams might come back, or another team might take their place. So, as Eric said, it's not fully dead. Let's talk Aussie rules football for a minute. I actually stayed up and watched Hawthorn play Melbourne, who again was undefeated going in. The first three quarters were sloppy. I wish Hawthorn could learn how to catch a ball, but they were in it. It was no team could get up by more than 11. It was back and forth, really, really close game, really fun to watch. And then the fourth quarter happened, and Melbourne won by 50.
Yeah,
it just imploded so fast. I want to say they scored 3 goals in like a minute and a half, and I went, all right, that's enough for me, and I went to bed. But Melbourne wins their game 104-54 over my Hawthorn Hawks, who are now 1-4 on the year, second to last, thanks to North Melbourne, who stuck with Geelong a little bit.
Here's the problem with that one is Geelong come out. They didn't score their first goal until 5 minutes left of the first quarter. I watched that game and I was like, come on. I mean, 5 minutes in and you're already down.
Mhm.
You know, yeah, you scored 3 behinds, but you're already down. They were down 20, right at 20, I want to say 25 to 3 before they finally scored the goal. So it took Geelong a little bit to get going, but once they did, it was like, oh, here we go. It's time to go. Hawkins did not look, and I know Hawkins is not your favorite player, but he did not.
I
look,
respect him. I respect him. But
He
I don't
did
like
not
him
look.
as
He
well.
did not look good. It was not his best game. So
A couple other scores to talk about. GWS beat Sydney 71-69 in a close one. And again, Eric's Western Bulldogs remain undefeated with Melbourne. They crush Gold Coast 118-56 to stay undefeated. Next week, Friday, 8:45 p.m. Sir, I wish the Fox would figure out their contracts because this could be possibly on there, but we might still be awake for it. Possibly, Geelong takes on West Coast. That's an 8th-ranked team versus a 6th-ranked team. The really big matchup, obviously, is a little late for us, but Saturday at 2:26 a.m. if you can't sleep, the 2nd-ranked Melbourne, undefeated, takes on Richmond, who are currently 5th. And then my Hawthorn Hawks play Saturday at 7:30 p.m. as they will take on 7th-ranked Adelaide because it just doesn't get any easier for the Hawks as they continue to struggle. They're looking competitive. They just can't get things done.
Yeah.
PGA, Stuart Sink wins.
The old man, 47 years old and wins by 4 strokes.
Sure. I mean, if you get the stroke going, that's going to work out for you.
Watch out. I want to know if Joel and them are on their way down to NOLA as this week the Zurich Classic happens in New Orleans.
They might already be down there if they're playing.
Gino and Joel down there partying on Bourbon Street.
By the way, I've been watching a lot of videos. Joel Damon recorded a bunch of videos with a YouTube group called Good Good.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually recorded that before he won his tournament. And he has a lot of fun where he beats them at one point. And he goes, well, if I can beat you, I can beat them. And it was as he was heading on down to win that tournament.
Yeah.
So it was really cool. But I ended up getting hooked on this YouTube channel of just a bunch of young kids who are pretty good at golf, having fun playing weird challenges and stuff. They do a bunch of weird challenges with Joel Damon. So check that out. It's pretty fun. Francois Lavoie ended up winning the first ever PBA Super Slam. I didn't get to watch it. I saw you comment about it.
Yeah, I felt bad for Tom Doherty. Tom sticks in the very first game. So the 5 guys go head-to-head, low man out, and then they speed them based on scores. I felt bad for Doherty. First Sperry shoots at it. He tweaks his back. Only shoots $180, and so I feel kind of bad for him. But, the guys that were there, Bowling, Francois, I mean, looked great.
Obviously, you're going to get that when you get the 5 major winners together for the tournament.
Yeah, Troop looked good. Troop messed up, I think, and made a ball change when he shouldn't have made that ball change starting in that first game. I think that was the hardest thing for me to watch, is knowing the reaction just wasn't there towards the end of that first semifinal. So he decides to make a change, and it cost him, and he ends up losing. So
Alex Bowen ends up winning at Richmond because of a late caution. Denny Hamlin and Joey Logano they were like 20 seconds ahead of third at one point before the caution came out. I was really excited to see those two battle it out for the win. Caution comes out, and Alex Bowman just passes them both.
Yeah,
ends up winning the race.
And then there was so much traffic that going into that last lap, but you watch. It's great to watch Bowman duck into the traffic, and then you see Hamlin ducking in right behind him, and just trying to find
any kind of room. A good finish to that race. Going to be a fun one on Sunday, as all restricted plate races are. But they will be at Talladega on Sunday at 11 a.m. the Geico 500. So that'll be fun. But it is time, sir. Let's get to this week in sports history.
Yeah, this week in sports history, and it's been very short the last couple of weeks, so we'll try to keep it short because I got a couple of trivias for you. I'm a little shocked about this one. 1912, the Pirates turn a rare 5-3-7 double play. Yes, I said that. Double play.
Third to first to left field?
Yes. The left fielder ended up covering second base.
Okay.
And it was kind of weird when I read that too. I'm like,
I mean, I've seen some like 5 to 3s, the 2s, the 7, like the crazy ones that end up being double plays.
But
that's an interesting one.
So I was trying to find who the rosters were, and I
thought you were going to say you were trying to find footage of a game in 1917 or 1912.
No. 1929, your New York Yankees become the first major league team to permanently feature numbers on the back of the uniforms. 1940.
Wait, hold on. You got to finish that stat.
Numbers correspond to positions in batting.
And now all of those numbers are retired.
Yes. And they're all gone now. You can't use them anymore. 1940, the Cleveland Indians pitcher Bob Feller hurls the first and only opening day no-hitter in MLB as he beat the White Sox 1-0 at Comiskey. The big one that I was really shocked with was this one on 1945. A one-armed outfielder for the St. Louis Browns, Mr. Pete Gray, is the first game he plays with one arm, goes 1 for 4 in this with a single. But during the season, he bats .218 in 234 bats.
So he would fit perfectly with baseball today.
Yeah, I mean, he'd probably get a better hit. He was able to change. They were talking about him changing his glove, and it was really cool. So 1947, Jackie Robinson becomes the first African-American to play U.S. baseball.
I love that baseball tradition where on Jackie Robinson Day, everyone wears a number 42.
Yeah, it's cool. I think it's the best. Mickey Mantle in 1953 hits a 565-foot home run in Washington in Griffith Stadium. First Major League Baseball game finally happened in California. The Giants beat the Dodgers in 1958, 8-0. One of my biggest pitchers I love to watch is Sandy Koufax. His first strikeout on the side only in 9 pitches, so he struck out the side.
Immaculate inning.
Yep. So, 1986, Michael Jordan sets the NBA playoff record with 63 points. Next year, Michael turns around and is the second player to score 3,000 points in a season. Let's see. In 1997, baseball honors Jackie Robinson, like you were talking, by retiring his number, and then that was exactly 50 years from the start of his career. Also, in 1997, Mark McGwire is the 4th player to hit a home run in left field roof there in Detroit. 1998, the NFL, Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning is drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. And I'm getting tired. And 2 more. 2008, Danica Patrick, driving for Andretti Green Racing, wins the Indy Japan 300. Is the first female driver in history to win an IndyCar series. And then in 2013, a very horrific day, Boston Marathon bombings happened in 2013, killing 3 people, 183 injured after 2 explosions near the finish line.
Crazy. All right, let's get to the trivia question.
Trivia question. I'm going to stay in baseball. I did it for you today.
I appreciate it.
But, both of them have a little bit to be desired. So do you want... Well, they're both a long ball. So I'm going to give you both of them. I'm going to do the first one. Mickey Mantle hits a 565-foot home run. Is that the longest home run in history? No. There was a AAA.
I got it right. Woohoo!
Yeah, there was a AAA one, and it was the Denver Zephyrs. And Joey Meyer hits a 582-foot home run. They say it doesn't count because it wasn't a major league home run. That's why Mickey Mantle still holds that record. The other one is Mark McGwire is the 4th one to hit a home run on the left field roof at Detroit.
Where are these crazy home run ones?
Who are the other 3? If you can get 2 of the other 3, I'll be happy.
I can't even. Griffey.
No.
No.
One of them was a Detroit Tiger, Harmon Killebrew, Mr. Tiger himself, and people will argue with that. And the other Tiger, Cecil Fielder.
That makes sense.
And the other name that stuck out was Frank Howard. I don't know a lot about Frank Howard, but Harmon Killebrew, I mean, in the day he was a beast, and then
I was really hoping
Cecil.
you were going to go with Jackie Robinson number. I
yeah,
knew that one.
I figured that one was too easy.
Yes,
It
that's
was
what I
way
wanted.
too easy.
And Paul brought it up. Mariano Rivera was the last to wear the number 42. His question, though,
Yeah.
who was the second to last? And I've been thinking about it, and I'm not 100% sure. It had to have been
I know,
early 2000s.
I know. Move on. I'm almost 100% sure on that.
We'll go with Mo Vaughn.
And I think Paul's going to say, you are correct. No, Denise, no.
Boone was number 29.
She has this.
No one cares.
She was all over Brett Boone. She loves Brett Boone. That was the person that.
So while we wait for Paul to Butch Husky is who he says.
Who the heck?
I don't know
He
who that
had to
is.
laugh a little bit more. Who is Butch Husky? As you look that up, let's plug one more time. Don't forget 2 episodes next week. We'll be here at the station on Tuesday doing the regular R&R show, but make plans to join us on Thursday as we bring you the NFL draft. We'll be doing the first round. If you are interested in following along with us, let us know. Drop us a line. We'll get you set up. Join us on StreamYard. Have a good time. We're just going to fly by the seat of our pants, give us analysis. So
I don't think Paul's right.
I don't think so either. Who is Butch Husky?
I looked him up. He was a player. He played for the Mets in '93 and the '95 and '98. Played for the Mariners and Red Sox in '99, and then the Twins and the Rockies in 2000. I'm pretty sure Mo Vaughn played into the 2000s, so I don't think that is right. We'll talk to Paul about it afterwards. Paul, you got that wrong.
Yeah.
So you now have to try out
Mo
for
Vaughn.
the national anthem.
Mo Vaughn wore number 42, and his last year he played was in 2003.
There you go. I'm looking for it again. There you go. April 30th, 4:30 to 6:30 again if you want to do the national anthem auditions here at Harris Field. Paul,
sign up, buddy.
we made it. Another show. And like you said, we're going to do 2 shows. So maybe we'll do less NFL and we'll have more to talk about other things. And maybe we can actually not feel like we have more to talk about when the 2 hours is up.
But we talk baseball. We and I are so excited about talking baseball. It was just like,
It can go on
It just
for
can-
a long time. I want to thank Riley Way, who will be finishing up his homestand here in the regular season this weekend for the baseball team. Local boy having a great season. And of course, we want to thank Lauren Ham coming on here in the 7 o'clock hour. They're getting ready. The golf team getting ready to play in their conference championships next Monday and Tuesday. So I want to thank both of them for taking a couple of minutes out of their day to come talk to us 2 schmucks. I want to thank the radio computer for turning back on after it decided it wanted to do an update during the middle of the show, which is why you need to follow us on YouTube and Facebook, R&R Sports Report on there, and also KLCZ Radio on Facebook. Go follow them as well, because when this computer doesn't work, we got this set up as a backup. I have no idea if the radio turned off during all of that. I still had movement down here. I don't know what happened, but I didn't touch it. That's all I know. It wasn't my fault. But yes, don't forget, next Tuesday we will be right back here for the 30th R&R Sports Report. And then on Thursday, we will have our live first round reactions with Eric Watkins of W2M Network and Derek. I can't think of Derek's last name right now. I'm totally blanking on it. It's not my fault. Derek on Facebook is Derek on TSPN. So I don't know Derek's last name, but Derek from the Time Spent Poorly Network. He has a great sports podcast on there as well. They will both be joining us for the entire first round. And again, if any of you guys want to come on right before your team makes their draft, Paul,
Yeah, let us know. We'll
let
send
us
you a
know.
link.
We'll send you the StreamYard link, let you come talk for a couple minutes. Just keep it clean. We appreciate it.
And no, Denise, we're not going to talk about the.
Well, we have to talk about the Saints, but we won't talk Drew
maybe.
Brees. All right, but that is Robert. I'm Randy. This has been another Jam Pick Show. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, guys. But for now, we are out.